Cúis áthastam páirte lachas a díospóireacht táhachtach dearfach seo. At the outset, I want to welcome my friend Minister Brophy, who I know brings hard work and intellectual rigour to the department and to anything he does. I want to salute Senators Neil Blaney and Éireann McGreehan and their Fianna Fáil colleagues for bringing forward the motion. And I do know, as a neighbour of Senator Blaney, that he is steeped in a history of interest in the Northern Ireland issue and connection to the Northern Ireland people, and that he speaks with great sincerity on the question. I think, before I go into my own few substantive remarks, that without prejudice to our view that the UK should not take unilateral action, there is a lot of merit and a good lot of reason to reflect seriously on the points made by Senator McDougall earlier around legacy issues and around dealing with past legacy issues. I think Senator McDougall's observations there and citing of historical precedent in a post-Civil War situation merits consideration and should be brought into the mix of any discussion. And that doesn't prejudice our concern that there wouldn't be unilateralism. I also accept the points made by Senator Wilson in relation indeed to Senator McDougall's input to the peace process, and that should be acknowledged. I personally aspire to a united Ireland, an inclusive, diverse, peaceful and prosperous united Ireland. It is all our duty, all of us, incumbent on all of us, to do what is within our power to advance this objective. While a border poll is inevitable, there is a lot of background work to get done initially. A border poll that produced a narrow result, and even if you were to look at it from an optimistic perspective, from a nationalist optimistic perspective, it would be very narrow at the moment. And in fact, it's more, it'd be very tight. But were it to be narrow, it would result in a destabilising factor, with a destabilising factor remaining that could very conceivably result in violence and a permanent civil disobedience, so that you didn't have a peaceful, harmonious state. So basically, the fact that we don't want to hold an immediate poll does by no means precludes the need and our responsibility to reflect and to work towards creating conditions of unity on the island and peaceful coexistence, and the kind of situation that ultimately will result in the poll creating a united Ireland in the future. In the meantime, we do need to go on working the the Good Friday Agreement, which the merit of which is that it features power sharing within Northern Ireland, east-west structures and cooperation, north-south structures and cooperation, and has to date given us 2 decades of peace. Securing the absence of a hard border at Brexit was a great achievement and crucial to maintaining the Good Friday Agreement, obviously, and to building conditions of peace. We should be sobered and tamed, if you like, by the violence a few months ago, in that it says to us we cannot take peace for granted. And since then, Minister Coveney has had a number of engagements and been in touch regularly with Northern Ireland and with London. And there is a pending British-Irish Intergovernmental Conference. I personally support the idea, the Taoiseach's department having the Shared Ireland initiative, and we should work with that. I have argued in this chamber in the past that we should build it into our sports capital grants, our town and village renewal grants, our rural regeneration grants, our CLAW grants, all of those, a condition that there's a north-south cooperation within them, an interaction with corresponding villages and towns with Northern Ireland, and that points be given for that and that it result in that interaction. That interaction should be built in the health services. I know it's existing at a level, and has existed very satisfactorily in relation recently, but needs to be built on and continued. Educational cooperation needs to be built on and and continue. We need to look to new imaginative structures when we eventually go towards a united Ireland. It may have to be a federal Ireland. It will have to be an Ireland that will give expression to all of the traditions on the island and all. That might need federal structure. That might need a new diverse type of governmental arrangements and interim arrangements, because we cannot create a situation where you have a dissenting minority who basically are alienated and potentially violent, and which undermines the whole concept of unity in the first instance. So I think we really should build a set of structures, Cathaoirleach, that ultimately will give expression to all traditions on the island, and bearing in mind too that we have a new population on the island now of new people who have come in recent times who are not orange or green. But all of that, all the groupings on the island, the entire complex strata of the island needs to be incorporated into new arrangements, and that may be, in fact, be something federal initially. So I basically support the motion. I support the discussion. I think it's a particularly reflective and serious discussion tonight, and I think that's good, and more of those are needed. Thank you.